AM, and today we're looking at histological lab series, and our practical today is histology lab practical number 6, which is cartilage. Right, so I advise everyone to watch this video until the very end to have a very profound understanding of what cartilage is. Let's get into this video. Now, our lesson objectives for this lab, number 1, is to classify what cartilage is, to define what cartilage is, to describe the occurrence, light microscopic structure, and function of hyaline, elastic, and fibrocartilage, which are the 3 types of cartilage that we'll be looking at in this histological presentation. Number 3, to discuss the mechanism by which the cartilage grows. Number 4, to enumerate or explain the various diseases, conditions that affect cartilage. Let's have a brief introduction of what cartilage is before we look at the histological representations. This is a golden question. What is cartilage? So cartilage is a tough, flexible form of connective tissue. So we must know that cartilage is a specialized connective tissue, which is characterized by an extracellular matrix that is denoted as ECM, with high concentrations of glycosaminoglycans, which are GAGs, proteoglycans, which interact with collagen and elastic fibers. Now, the variations in the composition of these matrix components, which are your GAGs and your proteoglycans and your collagen and elastic fibers and the cells that are found in cartilage, produce the 3 types of cartilage adapted to local biochemical needs. Alright, now cartilage consists of cells that are known as chondrocytes, embedded in extracellular matrix. The chondrocytes synthesize and contain the extracellular components and are located in matrix cavities that are called lacunae. Collagen, hyaluronic acid, proteoglycans, and various glycoproteins are the principal macromolecules that are present in all types of cartilage. So these components you are supposed to know because they are very, very important. Now, there are 3 types of cartilages. So in all 3 forms, cartilage is avascular, meaning that it has no direct blood supply, and it receives nutrients by diffusion from capillaries in adjacent connective tissue. The connective tissue that surrounds cartilage is what we call the perichondrium. In some instances, large blood vessels traverse cartilage to supply other tissues, but these blood vessels release very few nutrients to cartilage. What must be known is cartilage in most cases is avascular. Cartilage also lacks lymphatic vessels and nerves, a very key component because you are unable to feel or perceive any stimuli from cartilage. Now, the perichondrium is just a sheath of dense connective tissue that will surround cartilage, and in most places, forming an interface between the cartilage and the tissues supported by cartilage. The perichondrium is the one that harbors the blood supply to cartilage. So, oxygen and nutrients will dissolve from the blood vessels in the perichondrium and will go to cartilage. Now, let's look at the 3 components, the 3 types of cartilage. The first one being hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage is the most common of the 3 forms and is homogeneous and semi-transparent in the fresh state. In adults, hyaline cartilage is located in the articular surfaces of movable joints, in the walls of larger respiratory passages, such as the nose, the larynx, the trachea, and the bronchi. It is also found in the ventral ends of ribs, where they articulate with the sternum, in the epiphyseal plates of long bones, where it makes possible longitudinal bone growth, and in the embryo. Hyaline cartilage forms the temporal skeleton that is generally replaced by bone. So when babies are born, most of the makeup is hyaline cartilage are not bone, but this cartilage is replaced by bone through a process that we call endochondral ossification. So most of the cartilage in hyaline, most collagen in hyaline cartilage is type collagen, although small amounts of several minor types are also present. What must be known is that the most abundant collagen in hyaline cartilage is type 2 collagen. Alright, now let's look at the introduction to elastic cartilage. Elastic cartilage is essentially very similar to hyaline cartilage, except that it contains an abundant network of elastic fibers. So both collagen fibers and elastic fibers are found in elastic cartilage, but the most abundant is the elastic fibers. Okay, so now because elastic cartilage has got abundant elastic cartilage, it will appear yellowish and it will be more distensible. It is bendable. Alright, so demonstration of the elastic fibers usually requires stains such as Olsen or Risson fusion. Elastic cartilage is found in the auricle of the ear, the walls of the external auditory canals, the auditory tubes that are also known as eustachian tubes, the epiglottis, and the cuneiform cartilage in the larynx. Now, this is very important to know because in your theory of histology, they ask this. Elastic cartilage in these locations includes a periosteum similar to that of most of the hyaline cartilage. So this is a very important point because both hyaline cartilage and elastic cartilage have a periosteum. But as you are going to see, fibrocartilage doesn't have a periosteum. Fibrocartilage takes various forms, but it is essentially a combination of hyaline cartilage and dense regular connective tissue. So fibrocartilage is simply hyaline cartilage plus regular dense connective tissue. The location, it is found in intervertebral discs, and it is also found in the meniscus of the knee joints. So this is very important to know. There is no distinct surrounding perichondrium in the fibrocartilage. So the perichondrium is only found in the elastic cartilage and hyaline cartilage, but is not found in fibrocartilage. Okay, now let's move on and look at the histological diagrams of these types of cartilages. First thing we're looking at is the trachea, which contains hyaline cartilage. So we're going to look at two slides. We'll look at slide 72 and we'll look at slide H6.41. So your task is to draw a low power sketch showing the horseshoe shaped cartilage ring. Then you identify the perichondrium, and then at high power, note its inner cellular layer and outer fibrous layer. Number 2, you study the inner zone where you observe the cartilage cells that are called chondrocytes. You should note that the cells become progressively more differentiated as you move towards the central part, where the chondrocytes are clustered in the cell nests, which are known as chondrons of 2 to 4 cells in the lacuna, whereas the cells nearer to the perichondrium are mostly not so clustered. Alright, now you should study the homogeneous grass-like matrix which characterizes hyaline cartilage. Note that the walls of the lacunae are basophilic. Why are they basophilic? Meaning they stain blue. Okay? They stain blue. But that on the fibers can easily be discerned even at high power. You should note also that there are small vessels found in the perichondria. Draw at low power, draw at high power. Name 3 other places in the body where hyaline cartilage is found. Apart from the trachea, where does hyaline cartilage, where do you find it? So you find it in the nose, you find it in articular surfaces between joints, you find it in the bronchium, you also find it in the larynx, you find it at the rib edges where your ribs are attaching to the sternum. How does cartilage grow? So there are 2 types of growth for cartilage. You've got apposition, growth by apposition, where you are growing from the outside to the inside, and you have what we call interstitial growth. So I've given you answers to this. Let's look at the slide. This is the trachea. This is the horseshoe appearance. So as you can see where the cursor is, this is hyaline cartilage. What is surrounding the hyaline cartilage, this layer here, is the perichondrium. The perichondrium. So this is the perichondrium, and on the middle layer here, this is hyaline cartilage. You can't really appreciate it at low power, but just draw this, label this as hyaline cartilage, and label this as the perichondrium. This is what you are drawing at low power only. And then this is at high power cartilage. So as you can see, this is the perichondrium. The perichondrium is connective tissue, meaning that in it you have collagen fibers, mostly type 1 collagen fibers, and you've got cells called fibroblasts. And this here is your hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage has got 2 collagen fibers, and it has these cells here. These dark cells are what we call chondrocytes. So the chondrocytes are embedded in spaces that are known as lacunae. Let's look for a clear diagram. This is a clear diagram. Draw this at high power. Okay. So this is the perichondrium. It is even labeled here. So the perichondrium has got these cells here that are known as fibroblasts, and it has these collagen type 1 fibers. As you can see, this is hyaline cartilage. The hyaline cartilage has got type 1 collagen fibers, and it has this is the lacunae. The lacunae has got cells here called chondrocytes. So as you can see, the chondrocytes on the middle layer here are aggregated, or they are paired. The chondrocytes here are paired, and this pair is what we call a chondron. Chondrocytes are paired in the lacunae, and the pair is known as a chondron. While as you are going towards the periosteum, the lacunae is to have a single chondrocyte in them. So that's where the difference is. Cartilage, hyaline cartilage, has got a grass-like appearance. So this looks like grass. So this is what you are drawing at high power. Make sure to label the perichondrium, the fibroblasts that are in the perichondrium, and you draw this, the hyaline cartilage, you label this as a lacunae, the chondrocytes here, and this is collagen type 2. Okay, so that was hyaline cartilage. Now, let's look at elastic cartilage. Elastic cartilage is found in the external acoustic meatus. So this is slide 4. So what you're required to do here is that you survey the whole section first with your naked eyes, and then at low power, you make a sketch showing the position of the bar of the elastic cartilage. And at high power, the dark elastic fibers are clearly seen, ramifying in the ground substance of this cartilage. The cells nests do not exceed in two chondrocytes. Do not exceed two chondrocytes each. So meaning in the lacunae, there are not more than two chondrocytes. The perichondrium is a dense connective tissue which contains collagen and elastic fibers. So you should draw at low power and high power. And what type of glands can you identify in this section? And what is the color of fresh and fixed or unstained elastic cartilage? Let's look at this histological representation. So this is at low power. Low power, this is the acoustic, external acoustic meatus. You can't really appreciate it well, but here, this is where the elastic cartilage is. So just draw this and label it as elastic cartilage. Draw it as elastic cartilage. This outer layer here is the perichondrium, and then this is the elastic cartilage. Let's appreciate it properly at high power. So this here is the perichondrium, and this is the elastic cartilage. Now the elastic cartilage, as you can see, the lacunae only have two chondrocytes in each. So the lacunae are not exceeding more than two chondrocytes in each. And as you have observed, this cartilage has got a lot of elastic fibers. So it has both collagen and elastic fibers, but elastic fibers are more than the collagen fibers. This is a poorly done image. Let's look at something that is really really clear. This is a clear image of elastic cartilage. This is the elastic cartilage. So these elastic fibers, these lines that you can see there, these are the elastic fibers. So make sure that you draw the elastic fibers very, very clearly. When you're drawing elastic cartilage, make sure that you show the elastic fibers. These elastic fibers were not there in hyaline cartilage. So the chondrocytes are mostly single in each lacunae. So what lacunae? One chondrocyte. Lacunae, one chondrocyte. Lacunae, one chondrocyte. Lacunae, one chondrocyte. This C here just tells us that this is a chondrocyte. Okay. All right. Now let's go on. And this diagram also shows elastic cartilage. These are the elastic fibers here. Elastic fibers, elastic fiber, elastic fiber, elastic fiber. Okay, so this demonstrates the same thing as we were doing, as we were looking at in the other slide. Now let's look at fibrocartilage. So fibrocartilage, we said in our introduction, is just cartilage that is made up of hyaline cartilage and dense regular connective tissue. Hyaline cartilage does not have a perichondrium. So let's look at slide H2.63. So examine the section at low power or medium power. You should note the thick bundle of collagen fibers similar to those in a tendon. So you know that in a tendon you've got dense regular connective tissue. So it has collagen fibers that are arranged in a regular manner. So you note those collagen fibers with chondrocytes in clear lacunae scattered among the fibers, often in isogenous rows. At its peripheral end, the cartilage merges into dense fibrous tissue. You should draw at high power and low power. And the question is, can you identify a perichondrium in this section? Absolutely not, because fibrocartilage does not have a perichondrium. And then name two sites in the body where this type of cartilage is found. Fibrocartilage is found between vertebral discs. So it is found between vertebral discs and it is found in the meniscus of the knee joint. Alright, now let's look at the histological diagram. This is low power. Low power, you can see this is not very clear, but these are collagen fibers. This is dense regular connective tissue. And what you see here, these are the chondrocytes that are embedded in the dense regular connective tissue in lacunae. Okay, so just sketch this and label this as dense regular collagen fibers. Embedded in them is lacunae containing chondrocytes. Okay, this is a medium power. It's not very clear as well, but what you can see, this is lacunae containing chondrocytes, lacunae containing chondrocytes, lacunae containing chondrocytes, lacunae containing chondrocytes, and these are regularly arranged collagen fibers. So this is dense regular connective tissue. Let's look at it at high power. So this is high power. As you can see, these here are lacunae that are containing chondrocytes. Okay, let's look at this. Lacunae containing chondrocytes, and these are collagen fibers. So this is dense regular connective tissue. And in the dense regular connective tissue, you've got the lacunae that contain chondrocytes. Alright, so you draw that at low power and at high power. I put this diagram here as a summary for you. So, hyaline cartilage is flexible and resilient, and chondrocytes appear spherical, as you can see. The chondrocytes are spherical here. The lacunae are cavities in the matrix holding the chondrocytes. And collagen is the only fiber. The only protein fiber here is collagen. Type 2. Elastic cartilage is highly bendable. The matrix is filled with a lot of elastic fibers as well as collagen. It is found in the epiglottis, the larynx, and the outer ear. Fibrocartilage resists compression and tension. So the lacunae here, as you can see, is found embedded in collagen fibers here, dense connective tissue. So this one that has inked blue here is dense regular connective tissue. And in the dense regular connective tissue, that's where you find your lacunae. Okay, that's where you find your lacunae. So where do you find it? The fibrocartilage, you found it in the knee meniscus and the annulus fibrosis of the intervertebral discs. In the annulus fibrosis of the intervertebral discs. So it's very important to know where you find these types of cartilages. Very important to know how to identify histologically these three types of cartilages. Okay, so remember, you're also supposed to draw the railings. Draw the railings as well and show the elastic cartilage that is found in the railings. That's very, very important. Okay, so after that histological representation and after you draw, you're supposed to answer this exercise now. So in this exercise, number 1, you should contrast the different types of cartilage in terms of number 1, color when in fresh state, the major cells that are found in that cartilage, the main features of the ECM, the typical arrangement of chondrocytes, the presence of the perichondria, main location or examples of where the specific cartilage is found. You should mention at least 5 locations for each cartilage and mention the main functions of each cartilage. I think and I believe We've talked about all of these in the video. So if you missed anything, go back, rewatch the video, and then answer these questions. Number 2, to draw a well-labeled diagram to illustrate the most abundant type of molecules in cartilage matrix and how they interact with protein fibers. So the molecules, the dermatan sulfate and the chondroit sulfate, all of those things should label them. The keratin sulfate, how they interact with protein fibers and how they hold water in the cartilage, because cartilage is a highly vascularized connective tissue. Number 3, explain how each type of cartilage is adapted to the locations where it is found. And number 4, discuss the mechanism by which the cartilage grows. We already talked about this. The mechanism is apposition, growth by opposition, and interstitial growth. So look at those 2 types of growth and look at the mechanism by which they attain their growth. The 5th and the last question is to enumerate the various diseases, conditions that affect cartilage. All right, so this has been cartilage. I've had a very good time teaching you this topic. I hope you understand it. For further study, you can go to Untitled Chapter 7 and study this topic. It's a very important topic for your exams. Make sure you understand it because you find a lot of questions in this. If you have any troubles, you can register for lessons at Excellent Grades Academy with Dr. Byson AM at using this number on WhatsApp 0975497790. For all your academic needs, we have you covered. Do not let your CA go to worst. Come learn with us and let us turn you into a medical doctor of quality and of data. I'll see you in the next video.